Hey guys, and welcome back to the long-awaited return of Blincow Vlogs life. Now, it's been a whole year since I last talked to you guys. A lot's happened in that year, but you know, I kind of put it out to you guys, and you guys wanted to see me again. So I'm back, and today I'm here to answer some of your guys' questions. So the first question I have comes from Harry Ellis. He actually worked with me at Camp Wainoa over in the United States, and he's from Wales, and he asked, what was the easiest or hardest thing about doing an 18-month program in the United States? Now, probably the hardest thing to start off with was, you know, just packing up my life and moving to the other side of the world. You know, it's not an easy thing to do, leaving your friends and family behind. When I came out here, I didn't really know anyone apart from the people I'd worked with. So, you know, I'd say that was probably one of the most difficult things. The easiest thing is that, you know, fortunately in the United States, it's really easy to understand the language, you know, and I was doing something that I loved, so it wasn't particularly hard doing the job, but, you know, being out here for so long away from everyone was one of the hardest parts for me. Question 2 comes again from Harry, who asked, what advice would I give to someone who might be looking to do the same thing that I did? You know, it's a tough one. There's you know, everyone's slightly different. I'd say a big one is, you know, when you're in the United States, especially for an 18-month visa, you can drive on your driver's license for a whole year, but after that year, then, you know, you can't drive anymore. But, you know, making sure that you have some form of transportation, during kind of my early months here, it was really difficult because I didn't have any way of getting myself around, and I kind of relied on a lot of other people to, you know, bring me places, you know. And if you just want to go to like the grocery store and, you know, buy some stuff for dinner, that can be really hard if you're relying on somebody else. So I would say definitely make sure you know, you invest in some form of transport. Apart from that, be willing to do, you know, kind of whatever is asked of you, you know. It's a very, especially what I'm doing, working in a camp environment, there's a lot of little jobs that you might not expect to be yours, but, you know, be welcoming to any job that's kind of asked of you, and, you know, just make sure that you have a smile on your face every day, because that can go a long way with a lot of people. Final question from Harry is, what was the hardest thing I had to overcome? The hardest thing for me actually was during the winter months of last year, kind of, you know, the October, November, December time, just being away from home, not really knowing anyone. I find that like a really hard time period for me, especially the weather in Ohio is very different to what it is in Scotland. Where I'm from in Dunoon, in Scotland, we lived on the coast, we didn't really get much snow, but there was so much snow here, and it was so cold that, you know, I was kind of trapped inside a lot. And like I was saying, I didn't really know very many people, so going out and doing stuff wasn't something that was happening very often. So I kind of felt a bit lonely, but fortunately, you know, that all kind of turned around, and, you know, I love it here now. I go out quite regularly with different people, so getting through those months was really hard, but you know, like I said, it all got better from there. This next question comes from Chloe, who is actually getting married to my middle brother in November, and Chloe asked, how many times did I have to repeat myself with my accent? That is a daily struggle for me. I have to repeat myself, you know, multiple times every single day because people haven't understood what I'm saying. I've even had some campers when I'm working at camp that have come to me and been like, your English has improved so much. And, you know, you just kind of have to nod and smile, you know. For those in America that don't know, the only language that I speak is English. I did a little bit of German growing up, but we speak English in Scotland. We just have accents. You know, I've learned to slow down a lot since I've been here when I speak, so that people can understand a bit better, but still. The biggest struggle that I've really had, and I never thought I would have this, is with my name. So my name is Kyle. But to Americans that sounds like kale, like the vegetable. So I get called kale by so many people. You know, so much the fact that I actually now have a sweatshirt that says kale on it, because the only way to deal with these kind of things is to play into the joke. But yeah, Chloe, like all the time, I have to repeat myself, and sometimes it can get frustrating, but, you know, I realise it's not their fault, they just don't understand. The next question comes from my brother Ryan, who asked, what are you most looking forward to when you come home? Now, I don't know if he put this in there on purpose, but when I get back straight away, it's kind of wedding season. My brother and his fiancée Chloe are getting married in November when I return. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, going to the wedding. Me and my oldest brother Stefan, we are the best men at the wedding. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to going, getting to see all my family, all the extended family who I've not seen probably in, you know, 2.5 years. So it'll be good to catch up with all of them, you know, and just like have a really good time. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to in the first instance. After that, going back up to Scotland and seeing all my close friends. You know, I haven't really seen many of them. I went back at Christmas and saw them all, but you know, once in a whole kind of 1.5 years, it's kind of hard, especially how close our group of friends are. So really looking forward to the wedding and then going back up to Scotland and seeing all my friends. Speaking of my friends, I got questions from a load of them, so going to answer some of them. First one comes from Connor, who asked kind of what's like the pub life like in the United States. I'd actually say that it's pretty similar to, you know, that in Scotland. You know, just, you know, you can go to the pub, you know, or a bar as it's called here, and you know, have a couple of drinks. It's fairly similar. You know, kind of the settings might look a little bit different, you know, but you know, really it's the same thing. We go every Tuesday night to a trivia night at a pub, and it's a good fun. You know, I'd say it's very similar. The next one comes from Murray, who is asking, is Tennent's still the best beer in the world? Now, Tennent's is a lager in Scotland, you know, that we tend to have when we're there. You know, it's obviously not in the United States, so I haven't really drunk any of it since I've been here. I would still prefer Tennent's to anything over here. You know, everyone each to their own what they like, but you know, I would say the most common thing here is Bud Light. A lot of people drink that, but for me, you can never beat Tennent's. And then the follow-on to what he was asking was, is the Blincow BT combination of beer pong still the best team in the world? Now, for those of you who don't know, myself and Murray are the beer pong world champions. We held an event back in Scotland a couple of years ago, which me and Murray won. Of course, Murray, we're still the best team in the world. Nobody comes close. We also beat international teams, a couple of our friends from Germany. We won in Luxembourg. You know, we're a pretty big deal in the beer pong world. So when I get back, if we have any challenges out there for me and Murray, then we'll be glad to take them. The next question comes from Teddy, who asked me, is Sandy Cheeks a fair representation of the average American? Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Sandy Cheeks is a character from the cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants, and she is a squirrel astronaut that lives under the water, I guess. You know, I haven't watched SpongeBob that often. From what I gather, Sandy's very much a kind of, you know, very southern part of America. You know, where I am in Ohio, I would say Ohio is a very neutral accent, really easy to understand. There's not really, at least where I am in Ohio, not much of like a twang to their accent. It's pretty easy for me to understand everyone, and there's not really too much like slang or lingo that I don't understand. So I would say no, she's not a fair representation of the average American, but very much as kind of like the idea of like the Texas like cowboy type thing. Final question for you guys is from Connor, who asked, what does the food what's the comparison like between food in America and Scotland? Now, a lot of people will say that, you know, everything's bigger in the United States kind of portion wise. I'd say that in some places, but for me the biggest difference is kind of the sugar quality, like quantity in foods. I feel like the food in America is got a lot more sugar in it, and I always use bread as an example. Like for me, the bread here tastes like very sweet, and that's kind of down to the amount of sugar that's in it. And if you compare that to back home in Scotland, it's not really the same. But you know, apart from that, what I eat here is very similar to what I would eat back home. You know, there's some of the traditional things that obviously we don't have, you know, like things like haggis in Scotland. Obviously I don't eat that very often out here. Not that I eat it very often at home, but you know, that option's not there. But you know, things are very similar. You know, and there's a lot of places that do very similar food. So there's a lot of similarities, but like I said, I'd say that the sugar content in a lot of the food here is much higher than it is in Scotland. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. It's been great speaking to you again. If you'd like to see some more content from me, maybe some of the things I've been doing in the past year, or you know, you'd like to see me film vlogging style again, let me know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe, and I'll speak to you guys later. Goodbye.